Welcome to Keep Hustling, where we are going past the why to get to the how. I'm your host, the always hustling Aaron Gordon, aka NY Risk Advisor, aka Mr. Keep Hustling. In this podcast, we will be diving deep into the professional and personal successes of our guests to find out how they hustled through the most difficult times in their life and their development to achieve the success they've gotten to today. So buckle up for what hopes to be an amazing ride. Let's get to it. Welcome to Keep Hustling with my guest, Erik Johnson. Erik, thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Aaron. It's great to be here.
As I said before we went live, you are an expert coach, podcaster, and podcast coach. So I feel like I'm being analyzed without being analyzed, but it's my show. So we're just going to, I guess, do what I want. I'm just kidding. We'll take any sort of feedback from you that comes. I appreciate it.
It's your party. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to have fun. Okay,
good. And, I don't think I've ever met anyone or spoken to anyone from Omaha, Nebraska in my life. I didn't know that was a real place.
Oh, you're missing out.
Well, as I'm sure you know, the world actually, you think that the earth revolves around the sun. I'm about to teach you something that they don't teach people in Omaha, Nebraska. The world actually revolves around New York City.
Yeah, a lot of people in New York believe that, but everybody else is like, yeah, that's New York.
No one's proved it to me otherwise, so that's what we're saying. I want to...
But Warren Buffett lives in Omaha, so go figure.
You know what? You're right, and I'm going to give you a great Warren Buffett Omaha story, true story. I think you probably know, he apparently eats in the same diner every single day.
Yeah, he eats at Goldberg's right down the street.
So I once met a guy who was a very large shareholder in Berkshire Hathaway. This is actually a good Keep Hustling story. And he was sitting and having breakfast with Mr. Buffett in this diner.
Yep.
And an older woman comes over to him and says, she's looking at them, this guy's watching this scene, and she says, Mr. Buffett, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I can't believe that you're actually here and I'm here, and I can't allow myself to be in the same room as you and not ask you a piece of investing advice. So he looks at her and she says, I just had my first grandchild and I'd like to buy them a stock. Which stock should I buy them? True story. And Warren Buffett looks her dead in the face, this guy told me, and said, Disney. Kids will always love Disney.
Yeah.
So
Warren,
there you go. I don't know if it's going to make you billions. I don't know if it's going to make you billions, but it's fun.
He only buys things he understands. And
exactly.
Like Disney, trains, Coke, all that.
And insurance companies. But
insurance companies. Oh, a ton of those. Yeah.
As you could probably guess, 120 episodes into Keep Hustling, I love the idea of podcasting.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Some people tell me that the field is too saturated. I don't actually believe that it's too saturated. I believe that everyone deserves to have a voice. And I believe that it's an opportunity for everyone to share their story. That doesn't mean that everyone has to listen to your story.
Yeah.
But at least people can share their story. You have made a career in helping people share their story or their passion. Most people, and I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this episode, most people, I'm in the insurance business. My passion is helping people protect themselves, but I'm passionate about insurance, and via my passion, I get to help others.
Yeah.
You help others share their passion.
Absolutely.
What gave you that idea? What gives you that drive? What makes you want to do that for others? And then obviously I'm not saying that it's a not-for-profit charity endeavor, but I'm just saying, I feel that there's something unique there.
Yeah, absolutely. I help people share their story and share their passion through podcasting, regardless of what they want to podcast about. And then I make my living and I grow the business helping that fraction of that audience who wants to use their podcast to grow their business. How do they use their podcast as a marketing tool for their business? So that's the subset of my audience that pays me money and helps grow the business. But I help so many people share their passion. And it really started when I was a kid because my parents were always we didn't grow up with a ton of money, but if we could afford it and I wanted to do it, my folks were always encouraging me to do it. My very first business was as a magician for young birthday parties. I was probably, 14 maybe. And I was doing birthday party magic shows because I loved it. I would do magic out of the garage for the kids in the neighborhood and that kind of thing and just had fun. And then I was selling Christmas cards door to door for the Boy Scouts, and I was selling candy and candles and for the middle school band. Like I was always hustling, just trying to make a buck, and I loved doing it. I started getting my degree in architecture because I just loved architecture, but I was about 3/4 of the way through my degree and really started falling out of love with architecture, and accidentally got a job at a radio station where my brother worked and started falling in love with radio. But I was so close to finishing my architecture degree and I was learning everything I knew on the job at the radio station. So I just finished my architecture degree and stayed in radio because my parents just kept saying, do what you love, like do what makes you happy and what you enjoy. And I always told myself if I ever had a job and I wasn't having fun anymore, I'd quit and go do something else. Like I don't understand people who are in a job they hate. There's so many opportunities out there for you to go do something you enjoy. There's no reason for you to spend 50 years in a job you hate. Go find something you love to do. And so that's what I help people do. I help them find what they love.
You also realized you have an incredible radio voice. You realize that as well.
And I didn't always. Like everybody says, oh, I hate listening to myself. And I hated listening to myself at the beginning too. It's just something I got used to and I worked on it. There's little things that you can do to improve your voice. And there's a reason you don't like listening to a recorded version of your voice because it sounds different to you. When you talk and you're listening to yourself in headphones, you're hearing the bones in your head vibrate and it gives you a false sense of low end to your voice. And when you hear it recorded, the bones in your head aren't vibrating and giving you that sound. And so you sound different when you hear yourself recorded than when you're talking. And that's why you hate your voice. And so you just learn to love it.
Okay. I love that. I didn't know I was getting a science. That's actually pretty cool. I'm going to think about that.
Yeah.
But I want to touch on something that you said, and that is that, so many people, what is Keep Hustling? Keep Hustling is about, and people I've said this more times than I care to remember on this podcast, that I've gotten a lot of hate from people saying like, hustle culture kills people. And I don't actually believe in hustle culture. In fact, I believe that what Keep Hustling is all about is finding your passion and chasing your passion against the odds or against the challenges. Now, I agree with you that all too often people get stuck in professions and in jobs that they don't love. And I think that the biggest challenge and opportunity that we have for young people in this generation, the advantage that I hate to sound like the older person, but I've been in the workforce for 20 years now. So I guess I feel like I'm, and I have gray in my beard. The whole world is open to young people now.
Yeah.
And there was a time when I think what you said before was not true, meaning you didn't have another choice. You lived in this town and the jobs that were available to you in this town were X, Y, and Z. So you either had to, at a certain point, uproot your family, uproot your life, leave what you were accustomed to go find another job, and therefore it might have been impossible. And very often what I find, and the privilege that I've had speaking to people about Keep Hustling, is if you do it earlier, it's easier.
Yeah.
If you rip the Band-Aid off earlier, it's the people who, as you said, 30 years down the road say, 28 years ago, I should have jumped out.
Yep.
Because when people, when there's a certain level of comfort, even if it's discomfort, which is amazing, right? I'm used to going to this job. I'm used to these people. I'm used to this flow. And then I have a family, and then I have more expenses, and I have all these things. If people would just chase their passion earlier, and most importantly, and I think you're going to agree with this based on what you do, not be afraid to pivot early. Why is it that business owners all over the world say hire slow and fire fast? That means pivot.
Yeah.
But yet in our own personal lives, we won't fire fast. We won't fire what we're doing fast. Why is that?
Well, I think we've been taught too often to value a bird in the hand rather than two in the bush. And so we think, well, man, right now, if I give up my job, I'm going to give up my insurance. I'm going to give up my vacation. I've worked here so long, but there's so much more. We're looking at the short-term gain rather than the long-term gain. When people troll you for keep hustling, they have a version of hustling in their mind. Keep hustling is something different to everybody. Keep hustling just means keep working after what you love and keep going after the goal. Keep chasing the ring. If you think hustling means burning the candle at both ends and working 18-hour days, 7 days a week, then maybe you have the wrong version of hustling. Hustle just means do what it takes to win. So many people in today's culture want an easy win. Like, how do I work the 4-hour work week and become a millionaire? Well, it's not going to happen. So you either got to put the work in or accept what you get. And Even back in the day, I live in Omaha, right? We have the four seasons. We have a high of 1, and then we have a high of 103 in July. So, I mean, we get it all. And people say, oh man, you could move to Florida. Well, I could, but I enjoy the four seasons. Like I enjoy the snow and I enjoy the heat. I enjoy being able to not be hot all year round or not be cold all year round. I'm good with that. And if you don't like the job you're in and you're living in Minot, North Dakota, and you don't like the snow and you don't like your job, you can move. And, but all my family's here. Well, then you either have to put up with the snow and the job for your family, or you can fly and visit your family a couple times a year and go move to Florida.
And I would double down on that and say, now's the time to do that. Meaning there was a time when you couldn't do that. Now you can, even a person who says that they're not a person of means, you can rack up enough credit card points for once a year for the holidays, no matter how expensive it is, if you play right, and you can do that. And I think that's the opportunity. And it's similar in the keep hustling and what you do, because everybody should chase what drives them. Everyone should chase that passion. Everyone has the right to have that passion. And anybody who says that they don't, never too late.
Yeah. And Aaron, and it's never too late. You can't say, I should have done it 10 years ago. Well, yeah, but you can't go back to 10 years ago. So do it today. Like, I'm too old to start a podcast. No, you're not. Like, you start it. Like, who cares?
And what's the worst thing that happens? What I love about podcasting, I want to talk about this more, is like, the worst thing that happens in a podcast is it fails. And you know what the best thing about failing in podcasting is? Nobody listened.
Who cares?
No, but nobody listened. It's not like...
Yes.
Meaning the person who failed at podcasting, and I've thought about this a lot because obviously, everyone wishes their podcast was bigger, and I'm 100 plus episodes in, and I wish it was bigger and all this.
Absolutely.
And I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But it's like all the people who are the naysayers, they're not listening anyway. If it's successful and you have 100 million downloads a week, you've succeeded and you're not going to stop. And if you only have 4 downloads a week, then who cares if you fail? You haven't failed. No one even notices. So it's some time, it's some effort. So I love that.
I believe it was Rockefeller that said it. One of the old turn of the century tycoons. Somebody asked him how much money is enough, and he said just a little bit more. And that's your downloads. You ask any podcaster how many downloads is enough. Yeah, just a few more. Like everybody wants more. It doesn't matter where you are. And to me, that's what keep hustling means. Keep hustling means enjoy the journey. It's not the destination. It's not where you're going. Because if you're only looking at the destination and where you're going, once you get there, you're like the dog that catches the rabbit. Like, what does he do now? I've caught the rabbit. Like the game's over.
The game is never over. That's why I love it.
So keep hustling to me means enjoy the journey. Like learn to love the journey, not the destination.
100%. I want to ask you about a line in your bio because I've been doing this lately and it's into me. I'm into it. You must master trust before you can begin to leverage the relationship. I have a bunch of questions on that. The first is, what do you mean by mastering trust? And the second is, how does a person leverage relationships without appearing to be leveraging relationships? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 2-part answer, there's 4 steps to the sales process. The 4 steps are building rapport, qualifying your prospect, educating them on your solution, and closing the sale. And not all 4 steps are equal. Building rapport is about 40% of the sales process. You need to know, like, and trust the individual you're working with. You don't need to know them on an intimate basis, but I need to kind of understand who you are before I'm going to hand money over to you. And the bigger the purchase, the more I need to kind of believe you have my best interest at heart. 40% of the sales process is building rapport and building that trust. The next 30% is qualifying your prospect. I need to make sure that you're right for me and I'm right for you. Like you're the right person to help me achieve my goals and I'm the right customer that you can actually help. That's 30%. So that's 70% of the way through the sales process. Once we're on that level, then I can show you a solution I have that might solve your problem. Because I don't know what solution I have will solve your problem until I understand you and understand what your problem is and that you trust me that I can help you solve that problem. So mastering trust means I need to share enough with you so that you believe I have your best interest at heart and the solution I'm going to offer you will get you results and you trust me to deliver those results.
What do you say to those who say that mastering trust is really mastering dishonesty? And what I mean to say is if a person, the best way to gain trust is just to be honest with people. And if I'm honest with you, you'll trust me over time.
Yep.
So it shouldn't really be something to master. I'm in the trusted advisory space, so I have to explain myself all the time.
Got it.
And
Yep.
and I tell people that trust is lining up enough long-term reputational truths that prove that I am who and what I say I am.
Yeah. Aaron, what kind of insurance do you sell?
Primarily property and casualty insurance. So personal and commercial insurance to business owners, homeowners.
So you have long-term clients, right? You have Mary and Joe Smith who own a house, and they come to you because they have, hey, we got a kid now and he's driving. We have another car. We need to add it to our policy.
There's nothing better,
right?
Than
Yes.
the second generation client or the third.
Yes,
We have
absolutely.
thirds, so.
Right. So when a client comes in and sits at your desk, Aaron, and you say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, come on in, sit down. Here are 3 policies I'd like to sell you. Go ahead and sign on the dotted line right here. And they're like, who is this guy? Right? No, that's not what you do. When you sit down with them and you go, hey, all right, tell me a little bit about you guys. Where do you guys live? Wait a minute. You went to South High? I went to South High. My brother lives right down the street from South High. You got to be kidding me. Oh, that's fantastic. You got any kids? Oh, you have 2 kids. What, they play softball? That's my girls play softball. How great is that? Right. And you get to know each other. You're sharing yourself with them. Is that being dishonest? No, that's just building a relationship. Right.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that some people say that the art of focusing on trust or building trust is inherently saying, I'm not trustworthy, because if I was trustworthy, I would just be honest. I think what you're saying is the art of building rapport gains trust.
Yes. So the art of building trust is the art of building rapport. And when I listen to content creators, most content creators focus too much on their how. Let me share my 6 steps to success. All right, here's what they are. And I'm like, Aaron, I can find your 6 steps to success with AI. Like ChatGPT can generate me your 6 steps to success. I don't need you to help me with your 6 steps to success, right? I don't need Aaron. I can go to Geico and enter all of my information in Geico and it can spit out a quote for me. Why do I come to Aaron? Because Aaron's my guy. I love Aaron. Aaron's got my back. I trust Aaron. When I call him and I have a problem, I know Aaron's going to do me right. That's why I come to Aaron. So when I listen to content creators and they focus too much on the how, they're not doing anything to build trust. They're going straight to step 3. Let me educate you on my solution. Instead,
but that's mass marketing. That's what those people are doing.
But it's not mass marketing. Through your podcast, you're having a one-on-one conversation with the person listening. It's a very intimate conversation in the theater of the mind when you're telling a story. Aaron, when you get on your podcast and you say, you know what, I was at the softball fields the other night with my girls because they both play, they're twins and they play softball. They're playing 14
I'm an
softball
identical
right
twin.
now. See, right? And so we're connecting, right?
I'm so sorry that happened to you, that you have twins.
We're connecting, right? But if you say I'm at the softball field, my girls, they're playing 14U softball and they're out on the field and this mom's sitting next to me, and she's just yelling and screaming and I'm thinking, why can't you just let the girls have fun, right? And you're telling the story. Now your listener is envisioning this in the theater of the mind because it's a very personal medium, podcasting and audio, very personal. When you and I watch a video, we see the exact same thing, right? If I show you a video of a red Mustang sitting in front of a casino, you and I see the exact same thing. But when I tell you the story of it, you envision it in the theater of the mind in a way that's perfect and most enjoyable for you. And we make that connection through there. And that's what I mean about creating content that builds trust, is sharing your story and sharing part of you on your show so people get to know what you value and what you believe in and what you respect, because that's how they get to know whether or not they like you. They think, oh, Aaron likes green. He's out of his mind. I'm a blue guy. He can go like green all day long. I hate people that like green. I like blue. Perfect. You're not right for me. You go away. But if I'm like, Aaron's my green guy, we see eye to eye because I'm green too. We're on the same path and now we're building trust. And so mastering the art of building trust is mastering the art of sharing yourself with your audience and not simply sharing information.
I love the term, the theater of the mind. I've never heard it before and I absolutely love it. I'm going to steal that or focus on that, but I love that.
When you can make visions dance in the theater of the mind, like I told you about that red Mustang sitting in front of a casino, right? And you had it pictured in your mind. Is it a 68 or an 86? Is it cherry red or dark red? Is it a convertible or a hardtop? Is the top up or down? Are the windows up or down? Is anybody in it? Are you sitting in it? Is there anybody standing around? Is it daytime or nighttime? Is the casino lit up? Is it close to the casino or far away? Is the street right behind you? Are they in traffic? Like what day of the week is it? All of that goes through your mind. And I didn't mention any of it, but you just envision it in the theater of the mind in the way that's perfect for you.
I love that. And it's also, I think, just I'm in sales. And one of the things that I'm thinking about as you're saying that is there's a certain moment in a sales pitch when you realize it's working or it's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not talking about being dishonest, but I'm saying when you connect, as you said. When you connect and you can see the picture, the movie in the theater of the mind, you can see the person watching the movie that you're trying to paint. You can try to paint the story. And if it's not clicking, you can see like the audio is not working.
Yeah. And part of that is qualifying, right? So if it starts to not work, you're like, man, maybe Aaron's not really for me. Maybe Aaron's not my cup of tea. He's not my ideal client that I can really help get where they want to go. Like they don't understand the value of insurance and what it can do for them. That doesn't make them good or bad. It just means we're not right for each other. And that's okay. That's not honest or dishonest. That's just, we're just getting to know each other. So when I say master the art of trust, I mean master the art of building a powerful relationship with somebody so that you know whether or not you should take the journey with them.
I absolutely love that. I have to ask you, because I have your undivided attention and you're on my show. What are the most common traits or the top traits that you see in the most successful podcasters that you work with?
They have an insatiable sense of curiosity and they act in the face of fear. And I'll take them both. So curiosity makes you interesting. You become interesting by being interested. And especially when you're interviewing people, if you ask questions that you're truly interested in and you're an active listener and you're listening to the answer because you honestly want to know the answer, that's going to make you interesting. If you're only asking questions you think your audience is asking, you're just going to ask your standard rote questions. I can't tell you, I've listened to so many podcasts where the guest will say something fascinating and you're like, what? And the guest goes, oh, that's question number 3. That's like,
and you're like, double down.
Right. They'll be like, and so that's when I killed my mom. And they're like, great. So where did you grow up? And you're like, what? Wait a minute. He just said he killed. Back up a minute. Right. So that sense of curiosity, you only really need 3 great questions and you can make a great 30-minute interview. It's like, how'd you get started? What kind of challenges did you run into and how'd you overcome those challenges? And if you can listen intently and ask amazing follow-up questions with a fantastic sense of curiosity, you will be a great interviewer because people will be interested in what you have to say because you're truly interested in the topic. That makes you somebody that's interesting. Everything interesting is about people. And if you can tell great stories about people or get your guests to tell great stories, then you become a successful podcaster. And then the other piece is having that courage to walk through the fear. We all have fears of not being liked. We all have that fear that people will judge us and not like us. And if I say that, somebody's not going to like us. If you're sitting on the fence, all you're going to do is get splinters in your butt. You need to pick one side or the other. If I say rate Aaron on a 1 to 5 scale, 1, I hate him, can't stand the show. 5, I love him. If everybody rates you a 3, Aaron, you're dead in the water. Because you
want 1s and 5s.
1s and 5s, absolutely. Because
if everybody says they like you, you're not good either.
Right, because if you're just palatable. 3, if everybody rates you a 3, they could take it or leave it. Yeah, I'll watch it when there's nothing else on. But if it wasn't here, I wouldn't miss it. That nobody cares. You want somebody that if you have enough 5s to survive the show, ignore the 1s and move on. If you're not getting enough hate mail, you're not doing it right. You have to have an opinion and you have to share your perspective. And sometimes that gets scary. And when you have the courage to step into that, then you have the opportunity to succeed because it's not what you're saying that counts. It's who you're being while you're saying it. that will attract people to your show.
I love that. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for introducing me to the theater of the mind. I'm going to think of that. And I'm definitely going to follow up with you on that. As you know, we have a closing tradition on this podcast where we ask our guests to leave us with their favorite motivational or inspirational quote and what it means to them in their hustle. And with that, Mr. Johnson from Omaha, Nebraska, I will say thank you again for being here. Thank you for inspiring me, and thank you for inspiring our listeners.
Thank you for letting me share your stage. It's been an honor. I love it. There are so many quotes that I love from so many leaders through business and life. But the one that I go back to most often and the one that I love comes from Zig Ziglar, and it's a favorite of many. And it's that you can have anything you want in life as long as you help enough other people get what they want. And this goes back to our trust conversation. If you think mastering trust comes from a place of dishonesty, then you're not helping enough other people get what they want. I build trust with people by helping them succeed and giving them what they need. I spend an hour on the phone in a strategy call with somebody, just helping them get clarity on their problem and see a clear path to the solution. And after we spend an hour together, I say, based on what you told me, it sounds like you could do A, B, and C and eliminate X, Y, and Z, all the challenges in your way. And if you do that, you can get 1, 2, and 3. Does that sound like a plan? And they go, that is fantastic. Thank you. And typically they'll say, can you help me do that? What does it look like to work together to make that happen? But if they don't, my entire close is, would you like some help with that? And then they say, what does that look like? And I move forward because I help them get what they want. And by doing that, it comes back to me. And it's like we started talking earlier, that subset of people that I help, the entrepreneurs that I help use their podcast as a marketing tool for their business, those are the ones that pay me to help them get those solutions. But I provide a ton of free content for the hobby podcaster that just wants to create better content. And I'm all for it. You get all of my free stuff and worksheets at podcasttalentcoach.com. You can download it anytime you want. It's all free. And if you never give me a dime, at least I'm helping you get where you want to go.
We're definitely going to link that in the show notes. And it's been a while since I was emotional at the end of an episode, but as I was listening to you talk, I was thinking about my father of blessed memory. And there's no better way to end the episode, as I do every episode. Sorry. My father used to say, do well by doing good.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what you're saying.
Wise man.
So with that, I'll say this has been another episode of Keep Hustling. Thank you again, Erik Johnson. Remember, do well by doing good. And of course, and always, keep hustling. All right, hustlers, that brings us to the end of another fantastic episode. Thank you for listening. The listeners are the most important part of this show. If you like what you heard, please leave us a review wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more listeners. Plus, be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. We have some amazing guests and topics lined up for you, and we don't want you to miss out. And finally, if you have any suggestions, comments, or even just want to say hello, please feel free to reach out to us on all social media platforms. We are Keep Hustling Pod on Instagram, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We would love to hear from you to continue the conversation. Thanks again for tuning in and supporting our podcast. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, stay curious, stay hungry, and keep hustling.